Welcome to this month's episode of Conscious Connection, where soul meets soul. Each month we sit with a beautiful soul sharing their unique medicine, magic, and message with our world. Join the conversation. Hello, hello. Welcome back to the show, everyone. This is our September episode of
Hi.
Conscious Connection. And I have the beautiful Marni Beninger here. I don't see you, goddess. Welcome to Conscious Connections, friends and family. This is a special series where I introduce you to meaningful people with powerful resources that are shaping our lives across the globe. And these are the kind of connections that don't just cross your path, people. They shift your perspective. We have Marni Beninger. She is my goddess sister. She's also a rebirth alchemist and the founder of Sankalpa Women's Collective. Marni is a feminine business guide who helps women move from the silent she into the sacred siren. I love that. Reclaiming their voice, their worth, and their power. She is the founder of Sankalpa Women's Collective. She draws on 20 plus years of experience in wellness, Ayurveda, feminine alchemy, and her own healing journey. Rooted in the energy of the wild horse in the matriarch, she creates safe, sacred spaces for women to heal, rise, and lead lives that are free, wild, soft, and whole. I love that. I love that. Rooted in the energy of the wild horse and the matriarch. She's creating some sacred spaces where you can heal, rise, and feel free and wild and soft and whole. And I was just having a conversation with myself the other day about being whole. I put out a video short about being whole, being whole and complete right now, not when you get things together, but you are whole and complete right now. And so that's what Marni is going to talk to us about. And that's what she is doing, creating these spaces for women to rise up, to have their voice, to come back to themselves, right? And so looks like she's back in the studio. Okay, welcome back, Goddess. Welcome back. We sometimes the technical,
Hi.
the technical stuff gets a little crazy here, but that's okay. We are back and I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you are my conscious connection for the month of September. So I'm going to dig right in because I know your time
Beautiful.
is very much important. So you call yourself the Rebirth Alchemist. What does that
Yeah.
title mean and how does that guide the way that you support women today?
Yeah, for sure. That's a great question. It was a title I assigned myself. So there's no CEO title that fit me. It really was because I working with these women, bringing them into these remembered versions of themselves. So it's not like birth where it's brand new, right? It's a rebirth. It's a remembrance. And the alchemist part is that, that touching everything that turns to gold. So I really work with women, see where they need some extra support. So when I work with women or do any kind of group things, any of that kind of stuff, I bring all of my experience. So it's not just a business coach. It's not just Ayurveda health coaching. It's not just Oracle guiding. It's not just womb health. It's all one. So you get the whole patch of all of my years of experience and training to really find that balance and that harmony and that strength that is so needed, and doing it in a way of ease and flow instead of like hustle and the patriarchal way of like really beating it to death kind of thing. So it's a whole different approach to how to work together where you get the whole package. You don't have to choose between health or your business or maybe a little guidance from the divine. You get it all.
I love that it's a holistic approach. I also love that you're talking about remembering, right?
Uh-huh.
This is not something new for us. We
Yeah,
are remembering who we are, the divine
exactly.
feminine in us. And no longer do we have to, like you said, that whole patriarchal trajectory or mindset of beating something down, working so hard to get it, analyzing everything. It's like, yeah, that we don't have to do that anymore. It's such a freedom
Yeah.
to have the divine feminine rising up and rebirthing itself so that we can remember who we are, who we really are. That's so beautiful. I love that you're guiding women in that. You definitely guided me in this the womb. What did we do? Like a wound meditation?
We did like a womb to voice meditation to really strengthen that like womb to throat chakra connection piece, basically.
Yeah, that was something that was so interesting. And I had no idea that my womb was connected to my voice, my
Yeah.
throat chakra. Talk about that. That's really
Yeah.
important.
It is really important. And especially as women, I find a lot of times we're cut off from our womb in the sense that it's just a problem to be solved, right? So, men created, I don't know for sure, but I'm pretty sure men created tampons and it's just like stick it up and like forget about it, right? Like just make it so you can keep going
That's
about your
funny.
day. I need to look that one up and make sure it was a man who created it, but it had to have been.
I know, right? Because I hated that.
Oh,
Actually,
right?
I
I
did.
know,
Didn't make
because
sense.
it's plugging you up. It's like it's stopping your actual natural flow. And
Flow.
so
Yeah.
our flow and our ease, it's our magic, right? So our womb holds 7 generations back, 7 generations forward, all of the magic. So in that womb is a powerhouse and we're taught to cut off from it. We're taught to like plug it up. We're taught to like ignore it, pretend it doesn't exist when we are flowing. And when, if there's pain in that area, we're taught to be like, take a pill, just ignore it, right? It's not a message for us at all. It's literally just something that like, oh, we have to deal with. And how many of us through the years of us on our bleeding day times are like, oh my God, Aunt Flo is here to visit, or whatever other
Yes.
ways, right? The inconvenience.
Yeah.
And so, really, in my wild feminine alchemy training and in my Ayurveda, we really connected into our womb. And that was really where we learned that actually all of a woman's strength, and this is whether you have a physical womb anymore or not. So you could have had a hysterectomy, you could have had anything happen. That is totally fine. It is the energetics of that womb space. And it is where women's powerhouse is. So it's where we can connect to like, is this an actual yes or no answer? Like it's our intuition. And when people say it's like
Mhm.
our gut feeling, it's our womb feeling. It's not actually like
Mm.
our gut talking. When our gut talks, that's a whole other message. That's our like, we should look at what we're eating and what we're digesting. That's a whole other thing. When
Mhm.
we say gut instinct, we're meaning womb instinct in women. We're meaning like,
Mm.
what is that womb telling us? And so, because so much strength, power, magic lives in the womb, it's natural that it has to come up through our heart chakra and into our throat chakra. And so, you will find that if you have a weak connection to your womb, usually you have weaker voicing of your desires and your needs and asking for help. And this can be physical strength too. So, like if you've had any children, oftentimes our womb space gets lax. And so even doing that pelvic floor exercises, that's physical strengthening. And then doing the like spiritual connection to the womb too will allow your voice to actually just like project in a whole other way and be able to voice your desires and be able to just connect to that womb space to be like, this is what I need and this is what I want.
I agree with you, and I can attest to the fact that through that meditation that you led us in, I felt an opening in my own voice. And that meditation it was just needed. And it was actually shocking to me how much I have ignored my womb and how much power is there. And so I really thank you for that. That actually leads me into you talking about women moving from the silent she to the
Mhm.
sacred siren, like using your voice to be loud, to like be the siren for yourself and not necessarily for anyone else, but for yourself.
Yeah.
And I believe that once you do these things for yourself, you remember yourself, then you can share them with the world. Can you paint a picture of what that transformation looks like and feels like to kind of move from silent she to sacred siren?
Yeah, that's beautiful. Thank you for asking that. So the silent she is definitely who I was for years, and people wouldn't even know it because I was public speaking and I owned businesses, and outwardly it looked like I was vocal, but I was silencing all of my desires. I was in martyrdom, in victimdom, in overgiving, people pleasing. Like so many women are taught to be the people pleasers, the ones that keep the peace, the ones that do everything around the house. And that especially once you have children, if you have children, I mean, when you end up in a partnership too, but especially when you have children, your needs are last. How many times have we heard like the kids needs always think about the kids before yourself, right? But that's giving from an empty cup and that is pushing everything down. And so that's really that silent she is really like that woman who isn't voicing her needs or isn't being heard and seen. So she might be voicing her needs because there were days where I voiced it, but I remember sitting in my kitchen and looking at my ex-husband and my children and being like, why does no one hear me? And I was speaking and I'd asked them to do something and I
Mm.
was like, why does no one hear me? And I realized it was because I wasn't even voicing myself. I was just talking. So it was just noise. It was extra noise in the
Yeah.
world kind of thing, right? And so that's
Yeah.
kind of the silent she. And then moving into the sacred siren. So I've had the question like, oh, but sirens cause like accidents on rocks. And like, we're not going for that siren that's like causing harm. We're going for that siren that is so deeply connected to her voice that she can project it out into the world and that she's the matriarch. So it's like the martyr to the matriarch. And the matriarch is that nurturer still, because so many of us are still nurturers and we still want to like give and that kind of thing. So it's not getting rid of that. It's that we nurture ourselves first and we stand strong in who we are and have our desires
Mhm.
met first. So we're giving from a full cup and that we are voicing from
Absolutely.
a full cup and we're right? We're like, it's just this energetics of like, and then people hear you. It's shocking what happens when you do go from the silent she to the sacred siren because you just, all of a sudden, you're like, it was me all along. Like, there are other pieces to it for sure, but it was how I voiced myself. It was how connected to my throat chakra, to my womb space that I was. And that's why I wasn't receiving everything I was trying to manifest, all of my desires. Why I always like, I felt like I was climbing a ladder that never ended. That was like just one more
Yeah.
step and I'll reach success. Just one more, but success was never there. And it was always, I always had to fight harder and harder to get any little piece of what I wanted.
You know, that is very interesting. And I know that some women can relate to this because, especially mamas, because I have watched mamas yell at their kids, talk to their
Yeah.
kids and just say, and they're just talking. And the kids don't even hear it. They don't even pay attention to it. And it becomes a noise, like a repetitive noise that they
Yeah.
obviously have gotten used to. So it's not
Totally.
even registering, what they're saying. I've watched that
Yeah.
a lot in my practice. And I think about how many women, that I have served that could have used this information, and hopefully a lot of women out there are watching this and find this to resonate with them because it's very true. Yeah, this is we need to reclaim our voices. So I want to
Yeah.
shift a little bit because you have a retreat coming up. This is a free 3-day
Yes.
retreat.
Yeah.
Yes, and it is September the 9th through September the 11th, and it's called From Martyr to Magnetic Mama. I love that. I love that. You could talk about, how did you get to that? Yeah, how'd you get to that, to name it that? But what
Mhm.
inspired this theme? What do you hope that women will walk away from after you tell us what inspired this thing from
Mhm.
martyr to magnetic mama? I love that.
Thank you. Yeah, it was I really love alliteration. So I'm always like, MMM, where can my words come with? And Martyr
Yeah.
has spoken so strongly to me. Like for probably a good solid year, at least once a week when I would pull my oracle cards for myself, Martyr would come out. Whenever I did an assignment.
Marnie, okay, I'm gonna stop you just before you get it in deep because that is so true because we were in the same Oracle group, okay,
Yeah.
the same Oracle certification group, and if you did not pull that martyr
Yeah.
all the time,
right?
Yes, I
I
saw it.
know.
I'm a witness to this.
And I have not pulled the Martyr card in 5 months. Since I made this massive shift, I haven't pulled that card
No
in
way.
once. Yeah, it's crazy.
Okay, then we have to do this.
We have to do yeah. Thank you, love.
Yes, you are doing the
I
work.
know.
I love that.
I know. So it's crazy. Any assignment we ever had, it was like Martyr would come up. And so I knew when I like, envisioned this retreat, and this retreat has been a vision for probably a good year or two, but everything divine timing. And so it was when I finally stepped out of my martyrdom that it was like, okay, I need to bring this to other women. And it was several conversations in a row with friends that were stuck in marriages and were like, I want to leave, but financially, I could never do this on my own, or I'm scared, or they're in careers that they're like, yeah, I do it because I'm good at it, but it's not my passion. It's not what I'm meant to do in this world. And so these conversations with these women, I was like, oh my God, that's where I was. That's where I've been. And I wanted to bring together as many healers and gurus and women that could speak on this. And so then I started the process of from martyr to magnetic mama. And so the magnetic mama part was a lot of chatting with ChatGPT. I was like, I want my alliteration and I know martyr has to be in there. What else can we use? So there was lots of chatting back and forth.
Yeah.
And I wanted mama. I like mama instead of my boys usually call me mama instead of like mommy or mom. And so I really love that. It just is a gentler feel. Like mom feels so like patriarchal to me. Like mom, it's like a
Yeah.
harsh
Yeah.
thing. So
Yeah.
mama felt gentle and soft and loving. And so that's where that came from. And so we I think are up to 28 different guest presenters and speakers who are all coming together. It's all virtual, so it's free. We have some live pieces. Most of it is recorded, so you can kind of watch it on your own time. But
Mhm.
we have like live, like Katie Silcox, who's huge in the Ayurvedic feminine world. We have Goddess
Mhm.
Abiola Abrams as well coming, and she's talking on wealth and worthiness. And we have each day for like our VIPs. So there is a VIP upgrade to get a bit more out of it as well. But the VIPs get to cook along with a chef every day too to really like nourish your body. And then there's like somatic practices. I have a lady who's doing crystal like she's going to walk you through how to find your crystals that like speak to yourself and can help resonate to bring your power through as well. So really to use your allies, right? That are all around
Mhm.
us. We have like a mortgage broker who's in the spiritual world who will like be like, when you manifest the like physical money coming to you, how do you bring that into the physical world and buy your first house and like do these kind of things. So it's such a magical lineup. I'm so excited to watch all the presentations and be able to have the transformation. And it's really I just wanted the transformation I'm hoping all these women, which I know they will, get from it is really to feel empowered. At the end of the day, it's that
Mm.
whether they decide to stay in that marriage or that career, it's not because they feel they have to. It's that they choose to.
Yes.
And that's the difference that I want to allow these women to do is that they feel filled up and that they're coming from this place of like, hell yes, as opposed to like, I just
Yes.
have to stay, right? I have to stay because of the kids. I have to stay because of the money. I have to stay because I'm just good at it and it's what I do, right? So that's where this is coming
Yeah.
from.
Yes, yes, we choose all the things that we have to stay for instead of choosing ourselves, and so
Yeah,
this is really good. Um, yeah, you got a great lineup. You got a great
I know.
lineup. You're gonna be talking about what? From moving from feminine embodiment to money
Mm.
sovereignty. This is a great lineup, everyone. This is happening on September the 9th through the 11th, and you will have the links to get to this retreat in the show notes. So I would love for you to support this. And this is going to be great for yourself. Yeah. Think about you and what you
Yeah.
need and where you are in your transformation. So this is good because this show is Fear to Freedom, the Fear to Freedom Project. What fears do you see women most needing to break through
It's the
in your
fear of,
practice with women?
yeah, it's the fear of being like alone, of doing it. And I don't want to say like fear of being alone because so many of us have been alone, but it's not like alone. It's like the fear of having to like do it all is what I often see women have this fear, like taking care of the financial, that they're afraid they're going to lose their feminine softness and their feminine flow by having to do it all. I'll say it's actually the opposite. Staying stuck in something, relationship, career, an identity that doesn't fit you, actually takes you way out of the flow and makes you more in the masculine and not the divine masculine than doing it all and being in the divine feminine flow. Because when you're in the divine feminine flow, the resources come to you, the help comes to you. Where
Mhm.
you need things, it comes to you. So you actually get to be in your feminine flow more. So I think it's that fear of I don't know how to do it all, or I don't know how to be alone kind of idea, or I don't know how to change, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. And I think we all actually we face a lot of fears. There are a lot of
Mhm.
fears, more than one. And one of them is the fear of poverty. So
Yeah.
this is great that you're going to be talking about, money sovereignty and how to use
Yeah.
it whenever you get it, and to understand that really there is no poverty. I don't see it that way
Yeah.
anymore. We create that in our minds, but also we do fear being alone. We do fear being by ourselves. We
Yeah.
also fear rejection,
Yeah.
people don't wanna be rejected. Yeah,
Totally.
so there
Yeah.
are lots of fears, but let's talk about your fears personally. Can you share
Mhm.
some personal fears that you had to kinda step through from fear to freedom and tell us, how that shifted? What shifted
Mhm.
in you to say, "You know what? No more. I don't have to be afraid."
Yeah. So a big one I had to work through was the fear of being alone and rejected, kind of like you said, kind of that same, they kind of were the two sides of the same coin, that I feared I wasn't enough, that I was unworthy. And so it was the same as like fearing being alone, because I was choosing to be in a relationship for 16 years that was not healthy. And I thought it was better than being alone. And I thought it was because I was unworthy. And so it was this fear of being fully authentically myself is actually what a
Yeah.
big fear of mine was, because I thought I wasn't enough as me, that I wasn't worthy of everything I desired unless I overgave or, people pleased or, went into fawning in the nervous system, right? And so
Mhm.
yeah, had this huge fear of not being enough and really had to like work through that. It was a lot of mirror practice, to be honest, of like looking myself in the mirror every morning. And I have just a handheld mirror that I use. And it became part of my morning meditation, morning routine to be like, I'm enough. I am worthy. And I had to sit with that and creating the circles around me who constantly were telling me that. So
Yeah.
whether it was just, the circles we have sat in together, where anytime someone talked, whether I was talking or not, you could feel that you were worth being in that circle. Like there was never a
Yeah.
question, right? And so that empowerment just from being with women who were lifting each other up and seeing other women realize their worthiness helps you realize your worthiness too.
Yeah. I love that because I believe in community and healing comes through community. Wisdom
I
comes
agree.
through community. And we have been taught something different in the Western world, right? We've been taught, every man for themselves, right? And
Yep.
so that is absolutely not true. It is not true.
I
Healing
agree.
comes through community. And
Mhm.
this is how we build communities through connection, like this conscious connections and ladies showing up at this retreat, finding your tribe.
Yeah.
And as Marnie talked about, we have a tribe where we get together in community and we support each other. And that's what this healing is all about. That's why you can say, you know what, no more. This is what I've done. This is what I've gotten through. We all kind of I think about, me, defining myself through relationships, through family relationships, friend relationships, and being afraid to really define yourself, feeling worthy
Yeah.
of just being just who you are, you know?
Mhm.
And you are so worthy. You are so beautiful. And I am so glad that you are my goddess sister and that you have come into my life. You have given me a lot to chew on. So, yes, I'm so glad. I'm thankful for you.
Aw.
Goodness. Are
Yeah.
you kidding
I'm
me?
so thankful for you too, goddess.
Yeah, yeah. This is really important. I love this retreat. that's coming up, and it's very inspiring. And so if you can think of, one thing that you want women to remember the most from this
Mhm.
retreat is what?
Is that you're worthy, that you're enough, that you are worthy and you are enough just as you are right now. Nothing has to change. You are enough right now.
Yes, and where can people find you? Where can people find you
Mhm.
to work with you?
Yeah, for sure. So it's Sandkapa Goddesses kind of is where I am everywhere on Facebook, Instagram, threads, all of that. And it's the same for my website. My website is sandkalpagoddesses.com as
Mm.
well. And from there, like links into all the projects and all the good fun things that I have going on as well. So that's the best way to find me for sure.
So just for our listeners on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and iHeartRadio, how are you spelling Sandkapa Goddesses?
Yeah, for sure. So Sankalpa is Sankalpa, then Goddesses. And Sankalpa is that it's an Ayurvedic term that is this like heart desire. It's your deepest
Mm.
desire. And so that's where that comes from.
Yes, that makes me feel good. That makes me feel so good. Well, this has been such an inspiring conversation with you today. I'm so thankful that you made it here to the Fear to Freedom Project and you have an open invitation to come back whenever you want.
Thank you,
And
Goddess.
ladies and even gentlemen, some of this information can serve you as well. But if this message resonated with you, join Marni for her Martyr to Magnetic Mama Retreat, September the 9th through the 11th is free and it's deeply transformational. And there, if you want to be in the VIP group, you can make a small investment in yourself to be upgraded to the VIP group. And yeah, you're going to get some really, really good transformational support here and information. And I appreciate that. Thank you, everyone, for tuning into this episode of Conscious Connection. Remember, your voice is sacred, your worth is undeniable, and your freedom is your birthright. Until the next time, peace and love.